from. This is the 17th day of September 2021, and you are watching live and direct on Enter Biafra Channel 1, live and direct on YouTube, live and direct on other social media platforms, live and direct on Twitch. And you are watching us this evening as we have a special guest in the name of Dr. Alan White. He is going to speak with us today, speak to some of you, and to enlighten Biafrans all over the world about what is going on and what the Biafra people and IPOB are doing to make sure we bring the Nigerian government to book for crimes against indigenous people of Biafra, for crimes against humanity, for war crimes and whatever crimes that the ICC may see deem fit. On this note, without wasting any of your time, what you have to do is to share. If you are watching from Enter Biafra, you stick there. For those of you watching from YouTube and other social media platforms, you make sure you share and let everybody come and listen, so you don't allow somebody to tell you. And it is very, very important that you listen to it live, first-hand information. Our own is that we do it a show. So before going further, I would like to introduce our guest. I would like to introduce our guest, and Dr. White. Good evening from here.
Good evening, Simon, and thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it, and welcome all Biafrans listening.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It is an honor to have you here, and can you give an opening speech to Biafrans to know what you are doing, where we are, and where we are going?
Absolutely. For those of you that don't know me, I've been in the human rights investigation and justice and accountability for several decades. I served as the chief of investigations for the United Nations-backed Special Court for Sierra Leone, where we indicted numerous individuals for war crimes and crimes against humanity. And most notably was Charles Taylor, the former president of Liberia. And at that time, he was the first sitting head of state ever indicted and convicted. Subsequently, everybody else that we had tried to still remaining alive. Unfortunately, we had a few that passed away due to ill health. They were all convicted. So I have been involved in Africa for over two decades and pursuing justice and accountability for those that can't get it themselves. Now, because of that and the work that we have done, we were retained by the leader of IPOB, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. And as you know, he was very concerned about what's going on in Nigeria as a whole, but most importantly, the plight of the people, of the indigenous people of Biafra, and the ongoing genocide, which is a wide-scale and systematic killing of civilian population targeting specific groups. There are Christians, there's Jews and Shias, but most notably is the indigenous people of Biafra and what you have suffered ever since 1970. So he sought our assistance. He retained us. We are in Washington, D.C., but we're actually global. He retained us to promote an advocacy, human rights advocacy campaign for IPOB and seek justice and accountability for all Biafrans that are related to the IPOB worldwide. And even though we're based in Washington and we were focused there, we've taken our efforts global. So he retained us, and he also, in his absence, delegated those authorities for accountability and justice to the authorized representative, Madam Oyibo. And most of you know of her. So we worked very closely with her, and we continue in his unfortunate predicament right now, which eventually he will get out of that predicament But for right now, we're working closely with his delegated authorized representative, Madam Oyibo, who has been delegated this authority globally, working with us. I've had a subsequent conversation before his unfaithful plight of where he is right now, and he has full backing and support of her. So we're working very closely with her and the other people with IPOB in the United States to advance this human rights campaign, seeking justice and accountability, which, you know, on Wednesday, as a result of that, we have been collecting evidence and information demonstrating that there was a wide-scale and systematic killing of Indigenous people of Biafra, which was being conducted by the Nigerian government. So we filed a criminal complaint with the International Criminal Court on behalf of the IPOB on Wednesday and requested that they conduct or open an official investigation documenting the atrocities that are occurring against the Indigenous people of Biafra.
Thank you very much, Dr. White. You've actually, in your opening speech, addressed almost all the concern. I would want you to shed more light. You know, when it comes to Africa, people believe that people of Africa, you don't hold them accountable for crimes, especially these crimes against humanity. We have seen in so many countries where some government officials, president, ex-president, were persecuted, and some of them are still facing persecution today. What are you going to assure the Biafra people about your past, from your past experience? We know it is not going to be very easy. We know you have done it before. What exactly are you going to tell Biafra people, or, you know, giving them assurance that in your past experience, even though they told you something that you cannot get Charles Taylor, you cannot succeed, you cannot do this, you know, we want to hear, you know, some of your experience trying to bring these leaders in Africa to justice.
Well, let's be realistic and honest. You're right. This is not an easy task. But when you do the right thing for the right reason, things happen. I was told time and time again, you will never get Charles Taylor. It will never happen. Well, you know, we are a group of people, and we have a lot of people that are working with us and for us that want to seek justice. And unfortunately, right now, because of things going on in the world, Nigeria has been lost in the shuffle. Well, we put Nigeria on the map on Wednesday. Not only did we notify the ICC of what's going on, we also notified the Secretary General of the United Nations. We also alerted the Foreign Secretary in the UK, and we also put on notice the High Commissioner of the United Nations High Commission for Human Rights. So globally, we have spotlighted what's going on in Nigeria right now. And it was not just what was going on in northern Nigeria with Boko Haram and some excesses by the Nigerian security forces. Quite frankly, this is a global problem and it needs to be addressed. Nigeria is the largest country on the continent of Nigeria. And what is happening right there is an international security concern, and it should be. What we can guarantee the Biafrans that are listening to this, people specifically affiliated with the Indigenous people of Biafra, is that we will work tirelessly to pursue justice, just like we did with Charles Taylor. And we sought justice for the people of Sierra Leone where that court was. And right now we're also working to try to establish a war crimes and economic crimes court in Liberia. So we're very active on the continent. And right now, because Nigeria cannot police its own, and it is a signatory to the International Criminal Court, the Rome Statute, the International Criminal Court, in my opinion, has no other option but to open an official investigation and investigate and prosecute those crimes. Nigeria is a signatory to the Assembly States Party and the Rome Statute, which gives them the authority, meaning the ICC, the Office of the Prosecutor, to investigate and prosecute them if they themselves cannot do it. Either they're unwilling or they do not have the capacity. And as you know, in December of this year, there was a preliminary examination that confirmed that there are atrocities ongoing in Nigeria. So the next step is to request a formal investigation authorization from the pretrial chambers to open up that investigation. We feel on Wednesday, we gave them sufficient information and evidence that would support and warrant the opening of a criminal investigation into what's going on in Nigeria. And we've also pledged our support to continue to collect and provide evidence and information that will support a prosecution for those involved in the atrocities that are being committed in Nigeria today, especially those targeting the indigenous people of Biafra.
Thank you very much, Dr. White. You said something very, very important. You said this will be quite challenging, but when you do the right thing, for the right purpose, things begin to happen.
They do. We know corruption's worldwide. And look, when we pursued those individuals that committed the atrocities in Sierra Leone, we had a lot of challenges, but we had a lot of good people that surrounded us, and we have that right now. And we fully intend to stay engaged. We know what needs to be done. We know what needs to be presented to court to be able to properly convict someone of the charges that have been led against them. So we believe we have the right team. We spent decades, and I've got 40 years of criminal investigative experience, and I've got over two decades of experience working on the continent, in the bush. I lived and worked there. I didn't just work in Europe or from the US. I lived and worked in Africa, and I've traveled 38 countries on the continent. So I know the challenge, I know the difficulties, and it's not going to be easy, but with the right team, we can persevere and hold these people accountable. And we promise that we will stay engaged with the International Criminal Court in seeking justice and accountability for the indigenous people of Biafra.
Thank you very much. We may not have much time. I know that your schedule is very, very tight. Now you know that Nigeria have a very long history of human rights abuse. Genocide has been committed in Nigeria. Unfortunately, the International Criminal Court was not set up to prosecute the war crime against the Biafra people during the Biafra War. And there has never been anybody, no government official in Nigeria ever since the beginning of the International Criminal Court, nobody has ever been dragged or summoned. No Nigerian has been summoned by the International Criminal Court. That is not to say that some people has not filed application. I don't know about that. That is not to say that international community are not seeing, reading, listening, watching the news of what is coming out from Nigeria every day. Do you think that with the step you and your team and organization are taking right now on behalf of the indigenous people of Biafra, we are going to see something different? Because you said you want the action taken so far, you have brought out Nigeria into the limelight, into the international community, and the torchlight is now on Nigeria because you have informed and put on notice the Secretary General of the UN, the ICC, those in the United Kingdom, those in Europe, and what have you. So are you saying that with this action and going forward, the world is going to be aware of the atrocities, war crime being committed by the Nigerian government?
Yes, that's our intention, and that's what we had pledged when we met with the leader and discussed this. This is exactly what we've done, and our demonstrated past performance I believe, supports that we can get the job done. It will take time. We have to manage expectations. This is an uphill battle, but we have the right team. We have the right people that know how to get this done, and we will pursue this on behalf of the indigenous people of Biafra. There have been other referrals, and you know that have been submitted, and they've been done in a noble manner, in a noble fashion. But you have to know what you're dealing with. You have to know how to collect this evidence. You have to know how to get this done. And it's very, very difficult. But we have done that. Think about it. We started, and within a little over 3.5 years, we were able to indict and arrest the first sitting head of state ever for war crimes. And literally 1 week later, we also, not directly with the court, but indirectly with the court, and we collaborated with him. We arrested his son, Chucky Taylor, in the United States for torturing many witnesses, but one of which was my witnesses. He was convicted, and he received a 97-year sentence for torture. So we've got the right team, we've got the right perseverance, and that's what we plan on doing.
You know, Dr. White, I know you have just very limited time to spend with me. You know, when you are saying these things, it means that the leaders in Africa understand what is coming, right? Including those in Nigeria. When they're listening to you talking, because they are watching you as we speak, when they're listening to you talking, they know what you have done to the atrocities committed in Liberia. Is it Liberia? Chastello and the family and his colleagues. The Nigerian government may be watching you right now, and they know what is coming. They know the experience you have had trying to bring the Chastello to book, which you did, like you said, within 3 years. And you even went ahead and succeeded in you know, bringing his own son to book. Let me, just for clarification, because you know, in social media, when people are watching you, and because the way you speak, some of those in Africa may not understand you. So just for clarification, did you say that Chastello's son, that you were able to arrest him because of the job you did, and he was sentenced to 97 years for torture?
Chucky Taylor was not arrested by the special court. What I'm saying is that we were able to collaborate with the United States authorities when we received information that he was coming back to the United States to recruit some child soldiers to go back to help break his father out of the special court detention facility. Because of our international cooperative efforts, we're able to coordinate and work with the United States authorities. So when he came into the United States, he was arrested for passport fraud initially, and then we charged him with torture for torturing many witnesses, but one of which was our witness in the United States. That was, we were able to arrest 2 Taylors within 1 week, separate locations. All I'm saying is that with the international cooperation and experience that we have, we were able to effect this arrest and subsequent prosecution. So there's multiple venues, multiple jurisdictions, but when you work collectively with people for the right reason, you can get a lot accomplished.
Yeah, that's a very good clarification. I am more interested to know he was convicted for torture, right?
That's correct. The first time ever in the United States. It was a United States statute that was passed in 1994, and Chucky Taylor, to my knowledge, was the first one ever prosecuted and convicted, successfully convicted in the United States.
This is an interesting one, because you know why I want to you know to stick on this particular topic you just raised now is because you said he was convicted and sentenced to 97 years for torture. It's not even about that he has killed people or committed all manner of crime against humanity and all that, but for torture. And he got 97 years.
That's correct. And my point that I'm making here, there's a lot of options. We have the ICC and there are other jurisdictions that can be utilized to prosecute people that commit similar crimes. It may not always be the International Criminal Court, but these people travel around and some of them have citizenships in other countries that will prosecute you because you have a citizenship from that country.
Now, we understand that our leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, was subjected to very severe torture in Kenya. And though we are yet to have him in court, and this is also going to be an inclusive. It is going to be inclusive, including the torture of our leader from Kenya to Nigeria. Are we also seeking to address the torture from Kenya all the way to Nigeria?
Yes, we submitted a confidential referral that included all of that information. But what we can say publicly is we, in fact, did address that. Not only the wide-scale and systematic killings targeting the indigenous people of Biafra, but we specifically referenced that he was illegally abducted. It's called an enforced disappearance, which means he was kept in a special detention, which is a violation. It's a crime against humanity. He was tortured, and then he was illegally renditioned from Kenya, as it's been alleged, from Kenya to Nigeria. So all of those crimes that I mentioned are crimes against humanity, which falls under Article 7 of the Rome Statute, which are all subject to jurisdiction of the International Criminal Court. And if the OTP, Office of the Prosecutor, gets authority to open up the investigation, these are the specific charges that they will look into.
Thank you very much. I wouldn't want to take much of your time, but are you promising Biafrans that as time goes on, as we progress into this case, we'll be having, informing the Biafrans, because everybody seems not to know what is going on and all that. So it will be very good to have this kind of information coming every now and then to know the progress, how we are progressing at the ICC.
Yes, this is just a start. This isn't the end. It's a process. But what they need to know is that the process, at least in our efforts, has started. And we are fully committed, and we will continue to provide information to the ICC so that they can do their job, as well as other jurisdictions. We're not just limited to one jurisdiction.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I really appreciate you. If you can give Biafra people your word, last speech before you leave here, so we can continue with the other program I have.
I will be back, and thank you for having me.
Thank you very much, Dr. Allen. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is exactly what we are talking about.